Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today is my wrap-up video for the month of October. I technically made this video 2 weeks ago. I made this and my book haul in the same day, so I think in my book haul I was mentioning how I made my wrap-up earlier than that. So when I was transferring the videos over to my computer, the wrap-up was not showing. So on that day I just uploaded my book haul, and then the next week I was looking for the wrap up last week and I still could not find it. I don't know if it was because of the length of the video, but yeah, it was a pretty long video and I'm not sure. So I just deleted that one and I'm going to try again this week. So yeah, I missed a video last week and that kind of hurt, but I didn't have any time last week to film this or film any other video because I was so busy. Which is why I made 2 videos the week before. So yeah, let's just try this again and hopefully it'll work this time. So like I said, this is my October wrap up, and before I get into the books that I read, let's just talk about the shows that I watched and the movie that I went and saw. So the show that I binge watched for the month, because I am trying to binge watch at least one show a month. November is not looking good and it's almost the end. But the one I binge watched in October was actually Stranger Things. Something that I didn't think that I would like. It just didn't seem my cup of tea. But I did watch the first season the week before the second season came out last month, and yeah, I really liked it. I gave the first season, I believe, like a 4-star if I was rating it, and the second season I would give, I'd say, a 4.5 star. I think the second season was a lot better than the first, but they were still really, really good, and I'm really glad that I finally ended up watching it, because I feel like I'm one of the last people that hasn't watched it yet. But it was really good, and if you haven't watched it yet and you just don't think you would like it, give it a shot. It was really good. So the movie that I went and saw, because I don't really go to see a lot of movies in theaters anymore. First off, because of the price. Second, because of time, and mostly the price and the time. I don't have a lot of time to go out to see movies, and then I also don't have a lot of money, so yeah. I mean, $5 Tuesdays is great, except for the fact that I work a lot of Tuesdays. Or, something. But yeah, it's great. But I did go see Boo 2 and Medea Halloween. I really loved the first Boo. It was so good by Tyler Perry, if you don't know. And so I was really excited to see the second one. I thought the second one was really good too, but I prefer the first one more. That's just me. But I thought the second one was really funny. And yeah, I really liked it. And if I had to rate that one, I give it like a 4 stars. So yeah. Alright, now on to the books, and hopefully this won't take forever, because I did read 12 books this month, or in the month of October. So, not all of them were really good, or what I mean is, I did give 2 of the 12 books 2 stars. I gave 1 book 2.5 star. I gave 7 books 4 stars, so that was good. And then I gave 2 books 5 stars, because I really loved them. So, let's just get on with those. So we're going to start with the books that I actually read that were on my TBR, because I only read 3 that were on my TBR. And if you remember, I had like 12 or 10 to 12 books on that TBR. I had a really overambitious TBR, and I was like, this month I'm going to read all of those, and I only read 3, because that's the only 3 I was in the mood to read. So we're going to start with those. The first book is one of the first ones that I read, and that was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This is a Breakfast Club meets murder mystery, where there are 5 students who all get put in detention. They're all from like different social cliques. There is the beauty, the brains, the criminal, the athlete, and the outcast. And the outcast, his name is Simon, and he has a blog that dishes the dirt on everybody. So if you do something bad, or if you're cheating on your girlfriend, or you're taking steroids or something like that, he's gonna post it if he finds out about it. So it's no wonder that he winds up dead before the end of detention. And so it's just a whodunit, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I did find out who it was early on, or I did, figure out who it was early on, just because these are the type of the books I read. I really love mysteries, murder mystery, crime novels, any of those. I really love it, and I really love finding out who it is. And it was easy for me to figure out who it was, just because these are the type of books I really like to read, so it might not be easy for for other people to know. So it's not really as predictable as I'm making it out to be. Yeah. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I really loved the characters. I thought all the characters were really good. And, yeah. I mean, the writing was really good. And I believe this is Karen M. McManus's, debut novel, so I really want to see more of what she writes in the future. And the first book that I actually picked up in the month of October, as well as the last book that I finished reading, because it took me the whole month to read, that is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And the only reason it took that long to read was because I was listening to an audiobook and physically reading it, and it's a beast, okay? It's huge. Just like almost 700 pages. It's like, yeah, it's almost 700 pages. And also, while I'm reading this book, I'm also picking up all of the other books to read, because I feel if I got sucked into this one, I would not want to read anything else. And I really love this book. I gave this one 5 stars. It was so good. And this is about so this one's kind of hard. Okay. So it's about a man named Quoth. In the beginning of this book, he's in his 30s, and he's like an innkeeper, and this chronicler comes to town, and he wants to tell the legend of the man named Quoth. And so he meets Quoth, and he's like, I want to tell your story. So I really want to hear your story, and I want to tell it to other people. So the rest of the book is just, Quoth's past, and it's his, his journey, his story from his point of view. And I really loved it. It starts off when he was really young, like 12 or something like that. And then at the end of the book, he's only like a few years older than that. So, of course, the next book will continue on from there. But I really loved it. It's a fantasy, so there's like demons, and there's a dragon. That was really good to find out. There's like magic, or a magic system, and yeah, and there's romance, and I really liked it. And I can't wait to read the sequel. This was really good. I had fun reading this. And if anything, okay, so I gave this 5 stars, I gave the book 5 stars. I did listen to it on audiobook mostly. So if I had to rate that, I gave it 3 stars. I just felt like the narrator's a little monotone, and there were just a little things that were like, okay. But all in all, I did really love this book, so yeah. Alright, the last book that I read that was on my TBR is Till Death by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And I love Jennifer L. Armentrout. She is amazing. She's got books for pretty much everybody. You want some paranormal romance, I can't talk, with like aliens or vampires or gargoyles or whatever. Or hey, you want some Greek mythology, put in as well with the vampires, because that was really good. And then she's also got some like thriller type novels, and this is one of the thriller ones. Oh, and she's also got a romance. I mean, a contemporary romance series. She's got everything. I love her. So yeah. So this is like a thriller type novel, and this one's about a woman named Sasha. So 10 years ago, she was taken by a serial killer named the Groom, and she was, taken she was taken by him, and she was able to escape. That was good. because he was going to kill her. She was able to escape, and she killed him in the process or something like that. And so after escaping, she just couldn't stay in her hometown anymore. She was just, it wasn't good for her. So she moved, and she hadn't been back in 10 years. So now here we are 10 years later, and she's finally, you know, trying to move back home. She's like, I'm gonna move back home, screw the, you know, screw being, you know, uncomfortable here. It's over. It's been 10 years. This isn't gonna happen again. I can feel safe here again. So here we are 10 years later. She's moving back home, and stuff starts happening again. Somebody gets taken, somebody winds up dead. It's just all happening again, and you just gotta wonder, is it because she's back, or is it just a coincidence that this is happening? What's going on? And is it a copycat of the groom, or is the groom actually alive? Don't know. This was really good. I really loved it. Also with this, there is a romance, of course, because it is Jennifer Allentrop. There is a romance. And so when she was taken 10 years ago, she was dating this guy. His name is Cole. And they were having, you know, they were really connecting, and it was really good. And then when she was taken and when she escaped, she left, and she just left everybody. And she didn't look back. So now here we are 10 years later, and he wants back. He wants back, and he, you know, he misses her, and he feels like they need another chance. And I really liked it. I gave this 4 stars. I really liked this book. I really loved the romance too. It was really good. And yeah, I mean, I've never given a Jennifer Allentrop book less than, you know, 4 stars. I don't think. If anything, I don't think I have, but I could have given one a 3 star or 3.5 star. But I've never given her anything less than 3 stars, if anything, because I've always enjoyed her books. But I'm pretty sure all of her books get 4 or 5 stars from me. Alright, but yeah, that was a 4-star reading. Alright, so next we have, you know what, we're gonna go with these. Alright, next I have a trilogy that I picked up for the month. I was just not in the mood to read anything that was on my TBR. I just wasn't. So I went to my shelves, and I'm like, I'm really in a mood to read a romance novel. Just a straight romance. So it sucked because I had a theme for the month. It had to be like thriller or fantasy or, you know, horror, spooky, or anything like that. It just had to fit the theme of October. And of course, you know, I'm like, I'm in the mood for a romance. So I'm gonna quit that really early on, because it was literally after I finished One of Us is Lying, and while I was reading Name of the Wind, I was like, nope, I want to read a Nora Roberts book. So I picked up Jewels of the Sun. And this is book 1 of the Gallagher's of Ardmore trilogy. So here's the trilogy. So this is Jewels of the Sun, Tears of the Moon, and Heart of the Sea. And I really loved all 3 of these. So while I picked up Jewels of the Sun, I was really, you know, I really wanted a romance, so this is what I picked. So as I'm reading it, I realized, of course there is Irish folklore in this, but there's also a ghost, like a fairy ghost story romance. So that fit the theme perfect. I was so happy when I found that out, because you find out really early on there is a ghost. And it's like, thank you so much for this, because I needed this so bad. So this is a romance with a little, you know, a little ghost story put in as well. I was so happy. But yeah, this is about the Gallagher siblings. There's 3. There is Aiden, Sean, and Darcy. And so each book is, I just dropped the books. Well, I got 1 and 3 because I'm not going down. Each book is each of the Gallagher's romance. So Jewels of the Sun starts with Jude, I think her name is. Yeah, Jude and Aiden, and then Tears of the Moon was Sean and Brenna, I'm pretty sure her name is, and Darcy and Trevor. So yeah, these were really good. I gave 4 stars to each of them, and it was really funny because when I was finishing Jewels of the Sun, I'm like, I really need the second one, so I went to Barnes & Noble. I just picked up the second one, and then came the hard part. As I was finishing Tears of the Moon, I needed the third one really bad, because I didn't have the money for the third one at the time, or I would have bought both of them. But, so, I left. I had to go to 3 different Barnes & Nobles to find it. I had to go to 3 different ones. And by the second time when I couldn't find it, I'm like, call the other Barnes & Noble and put it on hold, because I am not driving over there to find out it's not there. And it's like, it's like a 20-minute drive to one, and then from my house, and then it's also a 20-minute drive from my house to the other one. So it's a 40-minute drive to the other one, and then it's like 10 to 15 from, the other store. So yeah, it's just like, I almost ran out of gas. It was like, are you kidding me? I'm running low on gas now. People, I need this book. So yeah, it was funny, but I really, really love that trilogy. 4 stars each. Nora Roberts also always gets like a 4 or 5 star out of me, because I love her books. Alright, next is Frostblood by Ellie Blake. The Reign of Ice Must End. Okay. This one is, let's see if I can remember this one. Okay, so there are 2 types of bloods, sort of like Red Queen, where there were the red bloods and silver bloods. But this one are Frostbloods and Firebloods. So the Frostbloods are like the superior race, you could say. And they're trying to kill off the Firebloods. And our main character is a Fireblood. Her name is Ruby. And so she is found, her mother is killed, and then she's taken prisoner, she's taken to the jails. And then like years later, she's rescued from them by other Frostbloods and then taken to a monastery or something like that. And they want her to train and like hone her power and kill the Frostblood King. Wow, I can't talk. So yeah, I mean, that was really good. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I feel like I do want to pick up the next one, which is Fireblood. I really want to see how that goes. There is like a romance in this, and I really liked it. I really want to see how the next one goes. I just feel like the next book is gonna give me like, there are books that I can tell that the next book is just going to be one of those where I'm like, okay. And then I really need the 3rd one to just finish it out, and hopefully I really love the end of the series. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel with the 2nd book. There are times where I feel that, like Poison Study. I felt like the 2nd book was not going to be as good as the 1st, and I was like, I don't know. So it took me forever to read the 2nd one. I had to, I think, read Poison Study 3 times before I just, you know what, screw it, and picked up the 2nd book. So I was wrong about that one, and I loved the 2nd book, and I love the rest of them. So we'll see, but I think I'm going to wait until Nightblood, the 3rd book, is close or is out before I go out and buy the 2nd and pick that one up. But yeah, 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. Okay, so the next one is Roar by Cora Carmack. She's a romance author. I think I've read a couple of her books, her other books. But I wanted to pick up this one and see how this one is, because I've heard really good things. This is about like Stormlings and how the main character, Aurora, is part of a like Stormling family, and how I don't really know how this goes. Like they have or she's part of one of the oldest Stormling families. Oh god, I still have a few books and I have to leave in like 15 minutes. And what's it called? She I don't remember how the Stormling families get their powers or whatever, or how they're able to like wield storm magic, but yeah, I think they're like the only families that are really able to wield storm magic. I think that's how that goes. And she's betrothed to another to a prince of another Stormling family, and together they, would be a really huge power couple and they'd be unstoppable kind of thing. The only problem is Aurora has no storm magic. She was just born without any magic. So the reason why she's betrothed to him is because they want him to, be the, I can't talk. They need him to like cover her because nobody knows she has no storm magic. There's only a couple people in existence that know, and nobody else knows, especially him. He can't know. So of course, when he's like, we upped the wedding, we're gonna marry soon, and you're also going to defeat the storms together. Yeah, she ran away from that. So she runs away, and she's with a troop of like storm hunters. So they're able to use the storm magic. It's weird. That's why I'm like so confused about that. But I mean, I guess there's a way to cheat the system and use the storm magic without being one of the like stormling, like without actually having magic to wield. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I gave this 2.5 stars because I was so confused by this, and also because I really wasn't loving any of the characters, and I believe like there's a lot of, I don't know, there's just a lot of confusion, and I don't know, for me I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary lying from Aurora's point of view. And also I don't know how the second one's going to be. Rage is the second one, I believe that's out, or it's coming out soon. And I just don't know how I would feel about the second one, because the end was just like, oh god. But I do want to pick up the second one because I do want to see how it goes. But I am really confused by this. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I give this 2.5 stars. Alright, okay, next couple of books. Gotta hurry this up. Sublime by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren is also really another author that I really love. I read her Beautiful Bastard series. So I believe this is her first YA one, and this is like a ghost, like a haunting read. It's about a girl who comes back from the dead. She is a ghost, but she comes back to wander the earth, and she meets a live human boy, and they fall in love, and it gets really bad because he pretty much has to die for them to be together, and every time he comes really close to death, it just like, really, are you kidding? And I really hated the ending. So I gave this 2 stars. I just did not like this. I didn't like the characters really. I mean, it was like a really fast and easier kind of read, but I just didn't feel like I was really invested in the story. I mean, I feel like if the ending was better, I might have given it a better rating, but I just didn't really I just didn't see the point of it, and I'm really sorry, because I really did love, I do love Christine Lauren's books, but yeah, 2 stars. It was just okay. And then I read Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. This is one that I just didn't think I would like. And I love Colleen Hoover's books. I love her books so much. And I'm like, this is her newest one. And I'm like, oh god, I might not like this at all. And this is about like a, so from it, I got like repurposed church and newly baptized, family. That's what I got out of like the first couple sentences. But I was so wrong, because I thought this would be a little preachy and like, like really overly religious, and I'm not a religious person. So I'm like, oh god, am I gonna like this? But it wasn't at all what I thought it was. This is, they're actually not religious there at all either. They just bought that church and made it their home, and that's what that was trying to tell me in the first couple of sentences, and I'm like, oh, that's better. This is about a girl named Merritt, and whenever something like happens to her, she goes out and she buys a trophy. Just any kind of trophy. It doesn't have to be anything of what she's, what's happening to her. She just wants a trophy. She wants something that looks nice. I don't know. And as she's buying a trophy, she sees this guy, and he's kind of watching her, and he smiles at her, and she's like, okay, this is weird. And she leaves, and he follows her, and he kisses her. And she's like, oh, okay, this is nice. And he thinks that she is her twin sister, which got worse. So yeah, his name is Sagan, and I can't remember what her twin sister's name is, to save my life. This book is just a lot of lies and secrets, and I mean, I just feel like Merritt is the one who knows everybody's secret, really. Like, she's the one who finds out, or they come to her, and it's like, she's not having it anymore. Her family is just fucked up. And I just loved reading this, especially when she just couldn't, she just had enough, and she let it all out. And it was so good. And the romance is really good. There are some fucked up moments where I was just like, oh, okay, maybe you shouldn't do that. But I still gave it 5 stars. I believe this is going to be one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books, or this is one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books now. I just really liked it. And I really liked Sagan, and I really liked Merritt. I just, I felt like they were really, I felt like Merritt was really realistic. It's like, look, the reason why she is what she is, or she is who she is because of all the lies and the secrets that's going on in the house, and she's the only one who knows all about it. And there's also something that happens in her past that she hasn't shared, and it's just like, it's all gonna come out at once, and when it does, oh my god. And I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. Alright, the last 2 books. I have 5 minutes. Okay, the last 2 books, and this isn't going to be so bad. I have An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson, which is about, so humans can wield craft, which is like our everyday things like painting and sewing and cooking and stuff like that. And the main character, which I can't remember, Isabel, her craft is painting, and she paints the portrait of the Autumn Prince. But as she's painting his portrait, she's not realizing that she's putting a very human emotion on his face. And when he finds out about that, shit goes down. That's not, that's forbidden. You're not supposed, they're not supposed to have a human emotion. So yeah, he comes back and he wants her to stand trial in the Autumn Court, for her crimes. And so if you probably remember my unboxing or anything when I was talking about this book, I was so looking forward to this book. This was gonna be amazing. And I didn't like it. I gave this 2 stars. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the romance at all. I just felt that was just off. I thought the world was really beautiful, like, because you jump from court to court, so you go from the autumn court to the spring court to the, I just didn't love it. And look at this cover. I wanted to love this book, and I didn't. And I gave this 2 stars. I just didn't get anything out of that, and I felt awful because I really wanted to. But now, the last book, which was one of my favorite books, is The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli. This one I gave 4 stars. And this is about where stories are outlawed, they're forbidden. And they're forbidden because when you tell, like, stories, I guess dragons, I guess the stories are what gives the dragons their fire, is what, they're trying to, and so when the dragons have their fire, they burn your town. And when the main character, I can't remember her name, Asha, when the main character Asha was young, she told stories to the dragons, and that's when it all came out, where one of the dragons was breathing fire, and he breathed fire onto her. He burned her, and then he went to her village and he burned the village. So yeah, or the kingdom, or yeah. So that is why stories are forbidden, and also stories are what killed her mother. Yeah. This was so good. There are, oh my god, there are twists, and I'm just I'm here for it. I loved it. Also, in this book, there are stories, and with each story you get like this, like, so here, let me see if I can find it. This is what a normal chapter looks like, and then when there's a story, this is what that like chapter looks like. And I love the stories. I think the stories are just so beautiful and so captivating, and I love them so much. And there's just not enough of them, and they're not that long, and I'm just like, oh, I want more. And I love this book, and I'm so glad I picked this book up because I saw the book trailer on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. And there's dragons, and she Asha, I didn't say, after everything that happens, when she's older, she becomes like the most fiercest dragon slayer. She's gonna kill them all. Oh my god, I loved this book. 4 stars. I kind of want to up it now to maybe a 4.5 stars. I have to go. But yeah, I mean, maybe 4.5 stars. This book was just so good. And I believe there's a sequel because of the ending. And if there is, I'm picking that up the minute it comes out. I cannot wait. This book was so good. So yeah, that was my wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. It is a lot shorter. It's like 10 minutes shorter than the last time I did this, so that's really good. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you again soon, I hope. Bye.